Okay, here I am, right here, right now. And this is AJ. I decided to make these little videos and we'll see how it goes. I'm on Second Life, so this pertains to Second Life and it overlaps into my reel and what I go through. If I want to share how to get to me in real life for our SL brother right now or not, but anyway, it's been said by some that Second Life is a form of therapy for them because it's an escape, it's a way to do their own thing, to have their own way. I understand that. I entered SL many, many years ago, and at the time I was going through different things in my real life as well. It was kind of tormenting. I had a job I did not enjoy in real life, had a relationship that never really went well, and I felt stuck in. SL, I seen advertised when I was doing some affiliate marketing online as a side job, and it would pop up as an advertising. I thought, okay, why not? I was curious. So I downloaded it, just a simple Second Life viewer, entered the world, created an avatar, the first thing I found out, it wasn't as easy to walk in SL as you would think. Also, the dressing was kind of a nightmare. Create outfits. I thought, how do you create an outfit? And do I want to? Landing in the Newbie areas was always interesting because back in the day, maybe it's still like this, but if you are a newbie and you land in an area, you get all these IMs. I don't know what the men's intent are. I assume they were men. They portrayed themselves as such, but all of a sudden they become real helpful and ask things about you that you don't really want to give. So I wasn't in SL very long, and I decided I'm going to have to set some very firm perimeters. Number one, I didn't want a voice in SL because to me that became more personal than just texting. I wasn't ready for that, for one thing, and wasn't even sure I wanted it. Another thing, my perimeter or barrier, if you will, I was not going to share my real life information except perhaps for very basic stuff, and I wouldn't go beyond that. I made the decision I was not going to provide pictures to people. I wasn't interested. Well, first off, too, I soon discovered that males IMing you, they often, not only do they want pictures, but they ask, do you have Skype? Do you have Discord? Do you use Facebook? You can voice on that. You can do video chat on that. That was a turnoff to me because to me, I was in SL and I was trying to get my footing in that world. I didn't really want to turn it into a major, real life personal sort of communication. I want to be my avatar. I want to be something I wasn't in real life. You do carry yourself into real life. You can't help it. And the longer you're on Second Life, more of your real life bleeds into Second Life. Especially if you're coming in and logging in on a regular basis. My observation was a lot of people come on here for a relationship because they're dissatisfied with their real life relationship. that was part of it for me. However, the big deal was I was just curious and I just wanted to chat with people and observe people and learn about this virtual environment. So that was a little bit about me. Now, in real life, as I said, I wasn't particularly happy with my full-time job I was doing at the time. I felt forced into it for money and to pay the bills. It did lead me to affiliate marketing, and I started doing that on the side with the idea of if I can make a go of that, then I can free myself of a traditional job that I have to go to. So that was my mindset. My relationship has always troubled me in real life, quite frankly. I got married in real life when I was pretty young. I had just turned 20. I met somebody in college when I was attending college when I was 19-ish, I think. Maybe it was 18. And we dated for about a year and a half, or knew each other for about a year and a half. Looking back on it, I was pretty naive. I wasn't really that street smart on relationships. I didn't even date in high school. The functions I went to were more or less girlfriends, and the school functions that were organized and pretty much laid out for you. You didn't really have strike up real cozy, close relationships. Friendships I considered close in high school were girlfriends, and usually it was one or two girls. If that one faded away, well, I took on another. But I like to be close to somebody. I never was one of those that divulged all my little secrets to my friend, and I didn't expect her to do that either. There was a few of them I met outside of school. I came over to my house, but my school that I attended was not conducive to my neighborhood people I associated with because of the distance. So my school was in a different city than I lived in locally, so it was kind of two separate entities. Having said all that, when you're growing up, you consider your family pretty normal because that's all you know, especially when you're a young child. Even if it's dysfunctional, you think, this is normal. And it's only later when you have outside exposure, and sometimes it's much later when you're a grown person, that you realize there's a lot of dysfunction in my family. For instance, my father was a functioning alcoholic, although our family just described it as, well, he likes to drink a lot of beer and he likes to drink with his friends. And he did go to work. He didn't have an executive sort of job by any means. It was a laborer type job. My mother stayed at home mostly. If she earned money, it was through cooking, babysitting, that sort of thing. One thing about my mother, she was always home when I came home from school. So it was a standard thing that I knew there was somebody in the household when I came home from school, and she usually wanted to know about my day. She often would cover up for my father and his drinking, looking back on it, and he would occasionally try to stop. He maybe stop drinking for a couple weeks and then go back. Oft times, looking back on it, he would say, well, if you would have the meal earlier, then I wouldn't come home and drink like before dinner. So his theory was, or his pitch at that time, that particular instance was, hey, get my meal prepared, so when I come home and have my meal, and I won't drink. Well, she would do that for a time, and it would last maybe a couple weeks, and then he'd be, I have beer here, beer there, and before you know it, a six-pack. If he could get 2 6-packs in a night, he would. Off time, it was a financial burden to do that day in and day out. Otherwise, he probably would have drank more. The norm was at least 4 beers before bed. At one point, he didn't go to work till 2 in the afternoons, and then work didn't get off till night. And so he would have a few beers before he'd go to work. I can remember my mother prompting him, brush your teeth, rinse out your mouth, can't get in trouble at work, and that kind of thing. I don't know. My mother leaned on me quite a bit, and even more my older brother. My dynamic in my home was I felt somewhat like an only child because my youngest sibling was like 14 years older than I was. And then I had an older sibling, brother, that he was the oldest, and he was about a year and a half older than my sister. So, in some respects, when they grew up and were on their own, my brother went off to college, my sister got married very young, she moved out, and there I was, me, my parents, and that's the way my life was. My mom was very protective of me, so therefore I was kind of a sheltered child in the respect of social interactions and such. So that gives you a little bit of background. I don't know about you, and you can tell me about some of your experiences if you so desire in the comments. Tell me how you got into SL. A little bit about your background. Do you consider yourself a little bit screwed up in the head? My philosophy is that I think everybody in SL has some issues. But then again, if you analyze it, most of us, whether or not we're in SL, do have some baggage or issues. We don't live in a perfect world. I was always striving for perfection, and my mom was sort of interested in this whole vision of, everything's normal. She did what she could to make it normal, and you got to keep a balance and a vision and an outlook for others to see. So anyway, tell me about yourselves. And this is part 1 of who knows how many segments. You can see how normal or screwed up or whatever I am. You can share a little bit about yourself. Have a great day, and I will be chatting with you